The Warhammer devs fight possibly the worst leak in gaming history. Once Human gloriously names and shames its cheaters, and the Concord beta fails to get off to a flying start. I'm Ash Dixon and this is Ginx News. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 has just been hit with one of the worst gaming leaks we've ever seen. It's not due out until September, yet just yesterday, a full playable version of the game started circulating around the internet. And man, just think about that. The GTA 6 leaks were huge, and that was just clips of the game. The same goes for Insomniac's Wolverine, and here's Saber Interactive sitting there as their game's entire campaign gets leaked for free months before release. Obviously, for those involved in the game, this is heartbreaking. Saber and publisher Focus Interactive have now released a joint statement saying, "Our teams have poured years of hard work, passion and dedication into creating a game worthy of your hopes and expectations, and it's disheartening that many of the surprises we worked to keep secret were spoiled. We're saddened that this build, which will almost be a year old by the time we launch, is how some of our most eager fans will first experience Space Marine 2. And perhaps that's the silver lining in all of this. The Space Marine 2 that will launch later this year will be far more polished than the build floating about. But damn, this is a $70 game, so who knows the kind of damage that this will do to sales." Luckily, Warhammer has one of the strongest, most loyal communities in gaming, and you only have to look at the officially released gameplay trailers to see that this game has some serious potential. It just looks like full-on third-person hack and slash goodness. Fans will want this game to be good and they will want it to succeed, so they get more Warhammer games just like this. But is the damage done? Can Space Marine 2 come back from a leak this big? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Once Human is the latest in a growing list of games this year that's exceeded expectations. Palworld, Helldivers 2, even that stupid banana game. It's been a banner year for surprise hits, and there are no signs that things are slowing down. It's currently the 7th most played game on Steam. Alex and James even played it last week on our Twitch channel to middling enthusiasm, but James did enjoy naming his character Ash Dixon and running around with no trousers on. Very on brand. There's a reason this camera cuts off at the waist. But with every big game, the same annoying people rear their ugly heads. Cheaters. You see, it appears as though a fair few people have been using third-party cheats, while others have been exploiting a bug that allows players to get supplies from engagement zones in restricted areas. And as you can imagine, NetEase and Starry Studios haven't taken too kindly to this. So they wielded the ban hammer and have given 3-day bans to the bug exploiters, while the third-party cheaters have been banned for 3,600 days, which is a power move considering the game will likely be forgotten about in 3,600 hours. But oh no! It doesn't stop there. To pour salt into those dirty little cheaters' wounds, they've also named and shamed them. If you scroll down this blog post, you'll see partly redacted info including ID numbers, player nicknames, and ban durations. So, a asterisk the best sucks to be you. Unsurprisingly, the bans have been supported by the rest of the community, with some even saying that they should lose the asterisks and just full-on name the cheaters. Not sure how that works with data protection laws, but you know what? I reckon I could get behind it. So, should other devs follow in their footsteps and publicly name and shame cheaters? Perhaps once their ban is up, they get a little badge next to their name that says, "I'm a dirty little cheat." Would that discourage people? Do let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Concord is PlayStation's new PvP shooter, the big, shiny AAA game that was meant to razzle-dazzle the audience with a fancy cinematic and a flashy gameplay trailer, but instead just made everyone collectively groan. It didn't look bad, but it also didn't look new. If anything, it looked like an idea that would have looked great back in 2014. Either way, the closed beta has just wrapped up, meaning people can actually form opinions for themselves, or just echo the words of their favorite YouTubers. And the response it's actually been really interesting. For the most part, there's been a ton of positivity. The gunplay feels smooth and satisfying, the sound design is immaculate, and boy, is it polished and runs like a dream. A lot of people are saying it runs like Destiny, which is no surprise because a lot of the people at Fireworks Studios worked on Destiny, and despite that game's own controversies, that's really no bad thing. But despite all of those glowing points, it's not enough. Why? Because Concord is $40. $40 for yet another hero shooter in a sea of shooters that are absolutely free. So it's no wonder that the player numbers for the beta were abysmally low. Sony were giving out 5 codes if you pre-ordered it, and on Steam, it barely scraped 1,000 players. There is an open beta kicking off from tomorrow, so perhaps that'll see better numbers. But it kind of feels like Sony have set themselves up to fail here. When your competition is Apex and Counter-Strike and Overwatch, you need to be delivering some 10 out of 10 S-tier if you want people to pay for it. So this goes one of 2 ways. Sony U-turns, makes Concord free to play, maybe just for PS Plus users, but scraps the price tag. Or they stubbornly plow forward, ensuring this flops on release just to make it free to play later anyway. All those people who paid full price will just throw some cosmetics and make their guns cook chickens or something. That's standard practice these days. And you know what else is also standard practice these days? YouTube channels having Patreons. But ours is special. Why? Because it comes with exclusive content, such as the camera feed for the lower half of my body. For legal reasons, that was a joke. I give it away for free. It's time for the Quickfire Round. Resident Evil 7 has flopped hard on iOS. It's been downloaded just 83,000 times on Apple devices, earning the sweet sum of $28,000. How? Well, only 2,000 of those players are paying customers. It follows the trend of Death Stranding and Assassin's Creed Mirage also underperforming on iOS. But to be honest, are we really surprised? Apple users aren't traditionally gamers, and those that are, well, they'll have existing platforms they prefer to use to play their games. Why not just play the games there for cheaper and earlier? Still, I can't lie, seeing AAA games run on a phone is pretty cool. Moving on, Fallout London has officially added this guy. That's John Burko, the former Speaker of the House of Commons, and he will now appear in robot form in Fallout London as the Speaker of the House. It's not something I had on my 2024 bingo card, but then again, he's been making the PR rounds after being on the Traitors US. After all, he's now out of the Commons, and the bullying inquiry against him didn't exactly paint the prettiest picture. You could say his behaviour was out of order! And finally, want to play some games with Pokimane? Well, get ready to cough up $500,000. A charity auction is running until Friday, meaning you still have time to bid on a gaming session with Pokimane. And it went viral yesterday with CS streamer Amir FPS313 and everyone's favourite moron and FaZe Clan CEO FaZe Banks going at it in a bidding war. The problem is, it seems their $500,000 bids weren't serious and their bids have now been wiped. Ha 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 ha, joke's on you, Immune Deficiency Foundation. Shame those two seem to have deficiencies of their own. Either way, don't get your hopes up if you wanted to play with Pokimane, because the highest bid is still a staggering $30,200. Big rip to the Resident Evil 7 devs for missing out on such a prestigious opportunity. But hey, at least they can afford the 7-day free trial of our Patreon, and so can you. We'll be back on National Urban Beekeeping Day.